What's up, people? I am back for another video. We are doing basically the final of Sean Connery's Bonds. Like, he has technically one more movie after this, Never Say Never Again, which I will do, but that won't get there until like the 80s. So, but I remember watching this one a lot as a kid. Because I remember the song mainly, and I definitely remember the Bond girl Tiffany in this. Man. Her and Plenty O'Toole, who's a character you see later. God damn, they were fine. Anyway, I like Bond in this. I love he's like on a revenge mission because you know what happened. They don't mention her by name, but you could tell that's why Bond's so pissed off in the beginning of this one. He's just like beating the shit out of people trying to find Blofeld. And I still think Donald Pleasance is still the best Blofeld, but I didn't mind the actor who played Blofeld in this one. He was fine. And it makes sense because the Blofeld changes his face constantly now. Then there's a bunch of fake ones. So it's fine. So it's like almost an in-universe explanation why Blofeld's a different actor constantly. So Bond ends up seemingly killing Blofeld, and then things seem over, but then we find out they got to get these diamonds from Tiffany. I'll admit I don't fully remember these assassins you see throughout the film's name, but they were great. I thought they were fun kind of characters you see throughout the movie, just killing people, trying to get the diamonds. And Blofeld, who actually is revealed to be alive, has a whole satellite which is set to destroy basically all the nuclear weapons of the world, so he can become like the nuclear leader. And Bond has to stop him. Basically, that's the movie. You know how these movies go. Bond gets a bunch of new tech. I like Felix Leiter in this. He's kind of undercover, but overall, I think, Sean Connery still kills it. So it sucks that this is his last one of the, yeah, he does Never Say Never Again, but of the more traditional kind of Bond movie. Him in the suit and all that, doing the action scenes. Yeah, this is basically the last one, because the next one is when Roger Moore comes in, which is another one of my favorite Bonds. So, but overall, this is a fun movie. I like the premise. I love the song. I love the music in it. Honestly, it's like one of my favorite things. And I think this one is definitely a bit better than. I like On Her Majesty's Service. I just think it ran a bit long a little bit. I think this one was the right amount of time. Action scenes were fun. I think Sean Connery did great for his final outing, which, it sucks because to me he is Bond, but I get it. He probably felt like it was time to kind of cut the roll, so it is what it is. So if I were to give this one out of 10, maybe like an 8. I'll give this one an 8 out of 10. I really liked it. Blofeld is fun. I'm happy. That's one thing I'm kind of happy that older movies did. They didn't always just straight up kill off villains, kind of like how some movies do now, because it's like these studios understand it. Granted, this isn't a comic book thing, but they understand, like, no, Blofeld's a good bad guy, we can use him again, why kill him? Any other movie he would have been killed by now, but it's like, no, we're gonna use him again. He's too good of a bad guy. He's Bond's like foil. So I would say between Blofeld and Goldfinger are the top 2 Bond villains so far. Granted, I still think Goldfinger had a better line. I expect you to die, Mr. Bond. Such a good line. But anyway, but overall, Diamonds Are Forever is good. It's on HBO Max if you haven't seen it. So, yeah. And Bond gave no fucks if you're a woman, dude. He'll put his hands on. Because in the beginning of the movie, you think he's about to hook up with this girl, and then he just takes her bra off and chokes her with it. It's like, holy shit. Trying to find Blofeld. It's like, man, these movies are so on PC. It's so great. But anyway, tonight won't be a review, but it will be a rant video. And actually, it might not even be tonight. I might try to do it earlier, where I'm going to rant about the state of Jeepers Creepers and Hellraiser. Kind of combine them, because I feel like both franchises have such good potential and they have both just been ruined. So I figured, why not talk about it? Especially since I've just got done finishing the Hellraiser movies. So Yeah, so I'll talk about that a little bit later, and I'll make sure it's tonight. I'll probably actually might even do it a little bit early in the day. We'll see, but because it's not necessarily like a review, so I could probably do it earlier. But yeah, then yeah, that's probably it. And then tomorrow, Nobody review, which I can't wait to do. I love Nobody. In my opinion, Saint Chad Stahelski, I think is his name. He made that movie. You know, same guy who did John Wick. It is such a good movie, so I'll be reviewing that tomorrow. And yeah, so let's get started. So the movie starts, and it gets going like quick because Bond is looking for Blofeld. He's like, I think he just immediately starts beating up on all his people. And then this is where scene I was telling you about, where he goes to, because one of the girl he goes up to works for Blofeld. And they make it seem like, oh, he's gonna do like the traditional, kind of woo. No, he acts like he does. Takes the bra off and then chokes her. Like, where the fuck is Blofeld? Well, he didn't say fuck, but where's Blofeld? Eventually, going to different locations, and yeah, dude, Bond is pissed. I love it. Because of what happened last movie. I like that too. The movie did not beat you over the head with that, because like you could clearly tell Bond wants revenge for what happened to his girlfriend, but they don't like have him like, oh, let's just have him say a line that explicitly says like, no, like you kind of can infer it. So I kind of miss when movies did that, like where it kind of let you infer things sometimes. But yeah, he ends up finding Blofeld, kills one of the fake ones, and thinks he kills. I'll just spoil it. Thinks he kills Blofeld again by dumping him in acidic, like this. I forgot. It's like this thing that's making, because he's making a bunch of clone Blofelds, and like that's supposed to be the thing that makes the skin. That's what Blofeld got kicked into. And this is then the plot really starts where Bond needs to find these diamonds. So he has to meet this woman named Tiffany Chase, who, in my opinion, she's not your normal Bond girl. Like she's not like action, because like most people when they think Bond girl are Bond girls who could who are also like either agents or they work for Blofeld or the villain, and usually are like into weapons. I mean, they were kind of. There was a scene that's a little bit later in the movie, but Bond fights these girls. Like these girls you saw in the last movie. I love how these movies too, like they do have continuity, but they don't like beat it over, because there's some movies where they gotta make it explicit. Oh, this is the next movie. Like this one, it's like you get little things, like you see the girls you saw from that last one in this one. Anyway, I'll talk about that later. So Bond meets with Tiffany. She gives him the fake dime. Well, before that, he poses as Peter Franks. Real Peter Frank shows up. Bond ends up killing him and switching him to make him Bond, while he poses as Felix. Not Felix, as Peter. He meets Felix at the airstrip in LA. And he's about to go to Vegas and give the diamonds, but then he's nearly killed when he's about to be cremated live. But Bond they end up finding out that he gets let out when one of the people find out that the diamonds were fake, and then that Bond says he'll go get the real ones. So after this, the comedian that let Bond out is end up being killed by the two. I'll just say that the pair that you see throughout the film, because they don't know the diamonds are faked, and This is where Bond meets Plenty O'Toole, and man, granted, she's kind of all like throughout the film, she's just basically a gold digger, and that's kind of it. But it's fucking great. Like Sean Connery, man, like he still has that Bond suave in this. So that's what makes me kind of. I would not have mind if fucking maybe in the aughts or something if Sean Connery did one more Bond movie, but like old, kind of older Bond, like him with the beard and the gray hair. Like I would not have minded that as a movie because I think he would have still killed it. Because even in like Indiana Jones, like you just granted not the whole scene, but like there's a one scene where I'm like he still has it. Like I still feel like he could be Bond. Like he has that charm, man, and I think that's why to me he is Bond. It's just he has that charm, but so he hooks up with Plenty O'Toole, but she ends up getting killed because they think she's Tiffany Chase. So, but yeah, that night he ends up with Tiffany. But yeah, Plenty is end up found killed. Tiffany runs off with the diamonds, but when she realizes that she finds Bond and she just sees a body floating, and she thinks initially it's like a wig, like one of her wigs, but turns out no, it's Plenty because they think she's her. So she ends up agreeing to work with Bond. They meet with billionaire. I'll just say White. I don't remember his first name. And he's basically like kind of like the bad guy. It turns out he works for Blofeld. He's actually still alive. Who has this satellite. Bond tries to break into the facility. This is where the action scene I was telling you about, where he fights off these two girls, and man, like, but yeah, they weren't strong women, but these girls, granted, they were bad guys, but yeah, they were femme fatales, but you know, they kicked his ass for a little bit. Bond finally eventually kills him, but they kick his ass for a little bit, so it's, you know, and this is 1971, but yeah, strong women didn't exist. Anyway, so Bond, not Penny, Tiffany ends up getting kidnapped by Blofeld, and Bond has to save her and stop this, because Blofeld, yeah, at this point is revealed to be alive, has this satellite that can basically he wants to destroy the nuclear powers of America, Britain, I think Russia, and then China. So he can be like the only sole nuclear power. You know, it's like, I love that. Laser satellite. I still think about these movies too. You just kind of accept that. Like, oh, okay. You don't really question it. You don't question if it makes any sense, really. It's like, no, you just kind of accept it. That's how this world is. It's kind of fantasy, you know? Like, you have all this tech that can do all this shit, crazy shit, right? But Bond ends up breaking the facility. We get, you know, usual normal final fight. Bond confronts Blofeld. Ends up destroying the facility. Escapes with Tiffany. They go to the ship, and this is where the I don't know if they're brothers, but the two assassins that you see throughout the film follow Bond there with a bomb. Bond ends up killing it. The last one pretty brutal. Like he puts like the bomb between like his balls or something like that. It was pretty brutal. Kicks him into the water and he just blows up. But like, yeah. And Bond and and Tiffany hook up. Kind of traditional. In my opinion, I think this movie is a solid last entry for Sean. I like this movie. It's very simple. Not over the top. I love the women in it. I love the tech. Blofeld's a great bad guy, and I love how they explain that he has clones, and it's a good in-universe explanation for why Blofeld's played by different people constantly, because it's a different face, so it works. I like that they don't just kill him, and actually, I think they did though this one. I'm basically my next Bond film is Live and Let Die. That's the first Roger Moore one. Roger Moore, I thought, did a really good job. He's definitely one of my favorites, so can't wait to see him again. But I think this is a solid last entry for Sean Connery. It works. You know, yeah. I overall, that's pretty much all I can say. It's a solid flick. Not a lot. You know, it's not one of the great ones, but I like it. I love the song for it. I love that it's just about diamonds. Basically, that's all this film's really about, and I like it. So that's really all I can say. 9 out of 10. So next week, Live and Let Die, first of the Roger Moore era Bond. So I can't wait to get into that because like I would say Pierce might be my second, just because he's kind of the one I kind of grew up with, or he was the Bond when I was coming up before Daniel Craig. So yeah, I'm gonna always have a soft spot for Pierce. But Roger Moore is definitely like third place. Who knows? He might even go up to second in these rewatches I'm doing. So we'll see. Like I mentioned, later today or tonight, I'll be doing a rant about Jeepers Creepers, and or more specifically the characters of Pinhead and the Creeper, of how I feel like they're just being wasted, because both of these characters have such a cool premise. Especially in my opinion, I think Pinhead is even more so, because Pinhead's one of the top horror characters, but arguably only has really two great movies. I mean, 3 is fine and 4 is fine, but I wouldn't say they're great. It's like, and then the Creeper only has 2, and then just it has gone downhill ever since. And I need to go in on that, because it's like, what the fuck? How do you not know what to do with these guys? Like, both are such cool ideas that you're telling me you can't come up with something better than what they've come up with in some of these later entries. Anyway, I'll talk about that a little later. I need to go in on that, because it's just kind of disappointing. It's like, what the fuck? Anyway, so I'll be talking about that later. Diamonds Are Forever is great. Watch it. It's on HBO Max right now if you have it. So I'm gonna cheers out, and I'll talk to y'all a little bit later. But as usual, fuck Joe Biden. Talk to y'all later tonight. Peace.